Which celebrity's death really stunned you? There was that one time when a Redditor made a post asking why Stephen Hawking wasn't dead yet, and he was reported dead the next morning. I think Op and everyone reading that post was stunned. Shit, I honestly forgot he was dead. He was the biggest name in science. Honestly still is. And it's weird to think he's no longer here. He's the Albert Einstein of our time. Okay, I know it is not something to laugh over, but the comments on that thread had me dying. All of the big ones already mentioned here, of course, Phil Hartman, Robin Williams. But I rarely see John Ritter in these lists, and that was a huge shocker. He was so young, it was sudden and unexpected, and by all accounts he was a great guy. And he died on his young daughter's birthday. I've actually been thinking about this one a lot. I used to watch 8 Simple Rules when I was younger, and I vividly remember how the show handled his death. My own father died 3 weeks ago suddenly and left behind a wife and 2 daughters. So this one's been on my mind. John Ritter was a tough blow for me. He was my first celeb death as a kid that hurt me. I still think about him a lot. I grew up on Three's Company. I wish he was still with us today. Dude was hilarious. Wow. I love all your replies. I'm so glad that Mr. Ritter has brought such happiness to other people's lives as well. When I was a kid I had insomnia and I would stay up too late watching TV. Three's Company was my favorite show and brought me a lot of comfort. I love getting replies that you find him just as funny as I do. Rest in peace, John. We love and miss you. Eddie Van Halen. I was driving home from work that day, had the local afternoon FM sports guy on the radio. This guy is an extremely obnoxious blowhard, but was choking up on live radio as he announced the news of Eddie's passing. He spoke for a few minutes about the man, his music, and his influence on our world over the years. It was very different hearing such sadness and reverence from that host. Anton Yelchin. I always forget that the universe randomly and unceremoniously snuffed him out. Same for a lot of the names on this list. Shit sucks. If somebody else didn't mention Anton I was going to. Just one freak accident, and poof. Doesn't help he and I were the same age. Edit. Okay, sorry for the use of freak accident. I thought it would cover something sudden and bad as an umbrella term people would understand. I didn't think people were gonna get into the semantics of it. But then again, this is Reddit, so I should have. When I heard the news back in 2016 I was just completely at a loss for words. Still don't know why I wasn't a huge fan or anything, but I was really into the reboot Star Trek series at the time. And the incomprehensible thought that someone I knew was dead really fucked me up. I watched Star Trek Beyond when it came out later, and at the very end they had the "in loving memory of Leonard Nimoy." And then the next words were, "for Anton," and I just started crying in the middle of a nearly empty theater. I still go cold over this. One of the most brilliant actors just gone. And that it wasn't quick. I can't even bring myself to watch his final films. It's too hard to think about. He is one of the actors whose name still makes my heart ache a little whenever mentioned. Such a talented actor. Yeah, that was going to be my answer. It was just a completely random, ridiculous accident. Came completely out of left field. The third Star Trek reboot movie gets you in the feels, in the credits. In loving memory of Leonard Nimoy, then simply, for Anton. Gulp. Anthony Bourdain. As a non-Westerner, what I loved about him was his humility. He was never cocky, "I can cook your food better than you," or picky, look at what these people eat, how they make their food. He was always willing to go to the little places, to eat the street food, to talk to people, and in the end he saw all the things that make us human. The shared and universal experience of breaking bread. It was so sad when I heard the news. Every once in a while I see an episode of one of his shows. God bless you, Anthony Bourdain. Completely broke my heart. He was such an inspiration to those of us who love food, the industry, and fighting for the little guys. Man, I miss that dude. Philip Seymour Hoffman. What a powerhouse of talent. Man, absolutely carried along came Polly. This is my answer too. Especially The Cause. Grant Imahara. Came out of nowhere. Edit. Everyone seems to be exactly as torn up about Imahara as me. We'll miss you forever, Grant. Grant's death hurt a lot because I grew up on Mythbusters. I even forget sometimes that he's dead, and it surprises me all over again when I read it. Like right now, for instance. He would have been 50 this week. Much too young. Same, it is one of the only celebrity deaths that actually upset me. It sounds dumb, but as an Asian kid I looked up to him so much. Edit. You guys are right, it is not dumb. Meaningful representation was very important to me, and I'm sure so many others growing up. Yeah, the only death that just stunned me there and then. Him and Bowie really got me. With both of them, I ended up finding out right before I went to bed. Both didn't have any clear warning. I had planned on seeing Soundgarden, the show, directly after he died. Carrie Fisher and then subsequently her mother. Despite her known battle with addiction, it still took me by surprise. Died within a day of each other. I can't imagine how Billie Lourd felt when that all went down. Debbie Reynolds. A beautiful and talented woman in her own right. And #X2MOBE, and while double-checking this to make sure I was speaking her name right, I now know why there haven't been any Halloween Town movies for a few years. I literally sobbed at work when I got the news. Threw my phone and started bawling. I grew up with Carrie Fisher. I was Princess Leia 2 years in a row for Halloween when I was very little. My mom asked me if I wanted to be something else the second year, like a real princess, and in the way only a 3-year-old can. I snarked back, "Leia is a princess, Mommy. It's there in her name, Princess Leia." That ended that argument. I was truly devastated, and then her mother, Debbie Reynolds, right after. She just wanted to be with Carrie. That tore me up. I cannot imagine her pain. Heath Ledger. Too far down this one. I just rewatched Knight's Tale. My teenage self loved that movie and him. 10 Things I Hate About You was my theme movie. His *scared me be. See, I recognized how easily I could have died that way. I took prescription sleeping pills for a while, both Lunesta and Ambien, and both had the unfortunate side effect for me, at least, and apparently for Heath, that I'd wake up and hallucinate that I hadn't taken them, which made me take them again. Chris Cornell. I miss him. He was such a huge part of my angsty teens. He and Eddie Vedder got me through some dark times in my life. It was the first celebrity death that truly hurt. Like I lost someone very close to me. Yup, and then Chester Bennington not too long after. That was rough. Alan Rickman for me. This one. It really threw me for a loop because everyone in high school kept saying, "I can't believe Snape's actor is dead." Never having watched Harry Potter, it didn't click until someone explained to me that was Alan Rickman. To me, he was the Sheriff of Nottingham and Hans Gruber, but mostly Elliot Marston. It really made me sad to hear of his passing. Bill Paxton. Watched him succeed from small parts Terminator 2 and True Lies to Twister and Tombstone and Big Love. Just hard to believe. Edited. It is Terminator 1, not too sorry for the confusion. Bill Paxton is dead. Amen. I totally missed that. I'm glad someone put this up there. He was very talented. His relationships with actors and directors and producers cultivated a very stand-up guy image. His movie, Frailty, that he starred and directed is really good. Rip Hudson. Cameron Boyce. I watched him on Disney shows throughout my childhood, and knowing that he was fine 1 minute and dead the next was hard. Was looking for this comment. Part of why his hit me so hard was his age. I mean, he was only a few years older than me. I grew up watching him, and then suddenly he is just gone. I had kept up with him after I stopped watching Jesse, but his death fully made me realize that death can happen to anyone at any age. I had not seen him in anything but was saddened by how young he was. Then when I watched The Descendants, it upset me even more. Oh God, my daughter loves the Descendants movies, and honestly I like them, too. I cried watching it a few times since he passed, and having only recently been diagnosed with his seizure condition. What a shock. Christina Grimmie. She wasn't the biggest celebrity, but at the time I was just getting into her music and listening to her covers on YouTube a lot. I don't watch The Voice, but her covers on the show were really great. When I found out she had been shot and killed by a deranged fan, it was truly shocking. She was so young, only 22, with her whole life ahead of her. I still can't believe it. Man, this one hit the worst for me. I loved watching her grow over time as a singer. She toured with Selena Gomez, she collabed with Taio Cruz in some Coca-Cola sponsor, etc. It was so cool watching this YouTuber slowly inching towards stardom. Then this happens just as her career was taking off. I have to agree with you. Other people have listed celebrities who died of disease, drugs, suicide, etc. But murder has to be the most shocking and most defies understanding. This was so fucking sad. Not only was she shot, but she was shot right in front of her brother. And then I think the brother tackled the shooter and the shooter killed himself. I can't even imagine the fucking trauma. I remember having a crush on her in like 6th and 7th grade, watching her do covers on YouTube and thought it was nice that her career actually took off. I'm almost 22 now, so it was almost like a slap in the face that someone I had known about and so close to my age was just killed. Death seemed like such a distant thing. She was the first person I followed on YouTube. When she was shot, heavy metal band Pantera, who lost their guitar player Dimebag Darrell in a similar way, issued a statement about it, and I believe also helped her family with things they needed. Like and subscribe for more Reddit content. Watch the next video at the top of your screen.